Welcome to the Not a Foodie Show. I am Tom Miele, and with me, as always, is good old Chicken Parm Poppy. Say hi, Mike.
What up? It's Mike Moranti, Mikey Pomodoro. Thanks for tuning in.
So I got a few things, through all of my scrolling through the internet that caught my eye over this past week. You know Yeti, the company Yeti that makes coolers and tumblers. So, first of all, what do you think of their products? Any idea?
Shout out to my friend Sarah. She cold emailed Pete Wells, and he came to our residency. So I bought her a Yeti tumbler and golf balls. I had no idea how expensive golf balls were. Side note. And
yeah, I buy cheap ones because I suck.
Yeah, I wanted to spend a certain amount, so it didn't really matter to me that I was just surprised that they were so much money for 12 of them. And she thought it was a great gift. And I think the Yeti tumbler keeps drinks really cold. And when you're playing 18 holes, it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeti has made their living or just made their company with products that are good, right? Really good products. They work, but they are just marked up ridiculously.
We were looking at Yeti coolers for Smorgasburg, and then we were like, oh, Jesus Christ. And then we looked at regular coolers, and they were a third of the price. Yeah.
And they do the same job. They're great. As someone who fishes and is on my boat for long periods of time, I appreciate a good cooler. Yeti is a good cooler. It is not worth 3 times the price of just a regular Coleman cooler. So I bring all of this up because today I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw that Yeti is getting into the cookware game. And their first product is a camping skillet, a 12-inch cast iron skillet. Listening to what we talked about just now, what do you think the price point is? How much?
$200.
Higher.
No.
Higher.
$250?
Higher.
$300.
$400. $400 for a 12-inch cast iron skillet.
Is it sentient? Does it watch your children?
Yes, it's got ChatGPT built into it. It cooks your meal for you.
I don't know how else you justify that. Is it VR?
Yeah, this is the same skillet that you can buy on Amazon for $12, for $20, $12. If you buy it in a restaurant supply store, you can buy it for $9. It's crazy. It's cast iron. Yes,
bro, that's wild.
I know, $400. It comes in a cotton storage bag though, so that's what you get. You get one of those plastic scrapers to scrape down your cast iron, and you get a cotton storage bag. So
I can't fathom that. Who's buying that?
Well, they have built up brand loyalty, right? They've built up, people love all of this, having Yeti on everything. They sell stickers and it's awesome, blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying that personally I like Yeti, but people like putting their Yeti stickers on everything. I don't know that anyone is going to pay $400 for a 12-inch cast iron skillet. It's ridiculous. I think someone there is pranking us.
You know what's so crazy though? If I don't know how many they're producing, right? But if they sell 5, they're gonna break even.
What do you mean if they sell 5? The cost of goods sold on this thing is $9. I bet you.
If they ordered 10,000, I don't know what quantity Yeti deals in.
It's crazy.
That is fucking
it's wild, right?
Though.
All right, So moving on.
That's so much money.
The next thing that I wanted to talk about that I saw on TikTok, a TikTok trend,
that's more than a week of my rent.
We're not moving on.
Now we can.
Okay.
A PS5 is $400, $500.
It's $500. Yeah, you can get. For 2 cast iron skillets, for 3 cast iron skillets, you can get
80% of the way to PS5.
Moving on. The other thing that I saw today that I thought was hysterical. There's a TikTok trend in China. It's all across Chinese social media, and it is tagged white people food. And it has become a like complete crazy Chinese phenomenon. And it started apparently with like international students that would go and like look at like what white people ate for lunch and like just sort of make fun of it. And now it's a full-blown trend. The best
White people deserve it.
Oh my god. So basically white people food is flavorless, unseasoned, like white bread ham sandwich with a little bit of like vegetables on the side or something like that, or celery sticks and mayonnaise or like just stuff like that. So, you know, people are dubbing it like lunch of suffering. It's supposed to be eaten for lunch, and it has been embraced by workers who use it as a reminder that their life is better than like people who are eating this every day. So they have it for lunch.
I mean,
and like what this way when
so
they get
like,
home, it's like they're grateful for their home life and everything like that.
when we're talking about like Chinese, like Chinese food,
Uh-huh.
you're talking like Szechuan heat, you're talking like curries, like all this stuff that like when I eat it like heals me. Like
I
washes
agree
me
with you.
over
I agree with you.
and like heals me.
Heavily seasoned, like something.
And so
yeah,
I
got
do
you.
get yes.
It's well, some of the quotes I thought were fucking hysterical. So this is from a user on one of their social media sites. It says, "The point of white people's meal is to learn what it feels like to be dead. But I've taken 2 bites and it was so bad that it made me realize how alive I am." And then some food blogger over there wrote, "It's so confusing and outrageous to eat. It's just so lawless and outrageous." And then it's white people food is the lunch of suffering.
But this is like a very like specific white person. This is like a Midwest white person.
Yeah, I mean,
because like
if
you're from like the South, there's more to it. If you're from the East Coast, you're not eating that. If you're from the West Coast, you're also
right. Yeah. Are you gonna not all men this?
I was thinking like California. If you're from like fucking Seattle, you're probably eating that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hysterical. I think it's awesome, and I think that I love that it has caught on through all of these different like groups. Like there are workers that say that they take this because it makes them realize how grateful they are to come home to their families. There's so many people that just
treat it the way someone treats a fast. I know people that like fast to like reset themselves and everything.
Right.
And they'll do like a 24-hour, 48-hour fast. This is the same thing.
Some people have embraced it as a minimalist way of eating, that it just gives you nutrition and absolutely no pleasure. Just here it is. It's nutrition. You want to eat it as fast as you can because it's disgusting to them. And it's like, you know, a bologna sandwich on white bread. So anyway, you know who does not under-season their white people meals is our next guest.
Vega.
Jenn de la Vega. Jenn is... Jenn is, first of all, I can't think of a better guest to follow up white people meals than Jenn de la Vega, who is the opposite of white people meals.
I wish we could have brought this up too.
I know. Too bad. I'm gonna have to we're gonna have to tag her in this when we release it and just tell her that your lead-in is white people meals. But Jenn is a caterer, producer, author, cookbook collaborator, recipe developer. She translated she's got an onigiri cookbook from some Japanese manga.
She doesn't translate them. She recipe tests them. So they're translated. Yes. And then she makes sure that they are like good.
Yeah. And she's also been the judges on James Beard Awards and, you know, Guy Fieri's Grocery Games she was on. And she's just a very interesting person who is super into the food scene. I think that what we didn't talk about enough was Randwiches, which is how she got her handle, which is she had a service where you would basically just text a number and she would deliver you a random sandwich. It was like part food delivery, part art project, and I loved it. I thought that was awesome. So anyway, I can't believe that this is the first time I'm meeting her. Let's listen to Jenn de la Vega. Jenn, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Mike, how do you know Jenn?
Through Twitter. 100% through Twitter. And I'm
That's how you
usually
meet the
good
best
at
people.
like knowing when I met somebody on Twitter or how I like the group that I know them in. I don't know how I found Jen's stuff. I think maybe like during the like peak pandemic, you were doing like food pop-up stuff too. Is
Yes,
that right?
it's true.
So maybe that's how I just through like seeing something and being like, oh, that's cool. Let me see what she's doing and just following her. And then she followed me back and now we're friends.
Yeah. We met in person last week.
Jen came to the restaurant for her birthday.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
nice.
Did some chicken parm and piccata and rice balls and all the good stuff.
Oh,
So much
fun.
fun.
Cool. Well, Jenn, first of all, thank you for being here. As I was doing research, and Mikey said, Jen's going to come on. And I was like, Jenn, you're like one of the most interesting people that I've ever researched. And I was like,
That's
how
so
do we
nice.
not know each other? It was like, I couldn't believe it.
You
But
know who Jen knows? Jen knows Tia. Like, well.
Oh, of
like, on a
course.
human
Everybody
level.
knows Tia.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows Tia. Tia lives like right there.
Oh,
like right down
cheese
the block.
mother.
Yes.
That's my cheese mother.
That is who she is, the cheese mother.
Yes. And she's been on the podcast before, like back in the old days when was she on when we were on the
She
radio
was on the
station?
show. She was at the Radio Rampa studio.
Wow.
Oh wow. That's
We
like-
had an AM
yeah.
radio show in
Oh
2019.
my god, no way.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was the funniest thing. That was just like, yep, let's start an AM radio show.
That's so cool.
It was on a Polish language station. We were like the
No.
only English
Yeah.
language programming.
In
The joke was that
Greenpoint.
like, yeah, in Greenpoint.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah,
I totally
radio-
walked by
right
it
next to
before.
the train.
Yeah,
Right
I know
there.
exactly where that building is. I live in Greenpoint, so
Oh, okay, cool. We should have had you on the show then.
I know, right? What the hell?
We were the only English language programming on that show, and the joke was that like in some Polish barbershop somewhere, there's like a radio stuck up on a shelf that they can't change the station, and they're just banging it with a broomstick trying to get these English speaking morons off the air
Hilarious.
whenever our show came on. So anyway, Jenn, your background, I feel like you've taken the winding path that I have taken to being in like the food world or food, next to the food world like I am. You guys are much more in it than I am. But like tech and music and just finding a passion and finding out, a way to sort of make that happen in food. I think it's amazing. Can you take the listeners through your background a little bit, like how you got into what you're doing right now?
Sure. I will preface this with there is a through line. It may seem like it is winding, but there is a through line, and I've recently just started reflecting on this, that there is always some creative bent to what I am doing, and I'm always involved with people who are trying to make new things happen, lots of creative pursuits. But it started way back in college when I had a radio show on 90.3 FM, Davis, California.
Oh, wow.
Isn't
Did
that
you go to
crazy?
UC Davis?
I did.
Cool.
Yes.
I had a radio show
So-
too in college. I lost my FCC license though because I played.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I played old cigarette ads. It was in the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I found them and I was like, I just played them over like some punk rock music and yeah, it was. So I lost my FCC license.
Oh my gosh.
In
We're
college.
kindred. We're kindred.
Yes.
If I could hold hands with you right now, I did children's records in the morning. I did morning drive time, would play children's instead of bedtime stories, wake up stories, and then would play gentle electronic music like IDM so that the parents would have like a pleasant drive to work.
Oh my god, that's so awesome. That's so
I know.
great.
It was the best time. But through that, I became very interested in the music industry. I had mostly been in orchestra as a child, so I was always like on the performance side of things. But then got interested in how the industry worked, and so I moved to New York City straight out of college to work at a PR agency. And so I got to work with acts like Girl Talk, Kaiser Chiefs, Black Moth Super Rainbow, like pretty cool artists at the time. But it's a very unforgiving industry, and so I hated it and left to go to culinary school, but I hated culinary school, so I dropped out and found a little restaurant in Red Hook, New York, like not New York, New York, but like Red Hook, Brooklyn, like south.
Oh yeah.
And that's where I learned how to cater, and I had my first experiences with weddings and cheese and charcuterie, and that's sort of the basis of my food knowledge. But, you know, it's not like I left every career. I kept accumulating careers.
Jen,
you know?
until I opened my own restaurant, I quit jobs all the time. I like, I feel that so, especially in this industry. No one's giving you like life-changing money, so it's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna go somewhere else.
I feel like I have a crisis of, and Mike, you know this about me. I have a crisis of career every decade or so, and I'm older, I assume, than both of you.
You're a professional podcaster. What
yes,
do you mean?
Now
you did
like
it.
I started in, yeah, seriously.
What
like
crises could you possibly have?
And I'm still looking for that through line, like how I got here, like record scratch. How did I get here? But like
right.
I started in PR, I did tech, and then ended up weirdly in doing social media stuff, doing startup stuff, and then weirdly just being like the food guy. So I'm still looking for what the through line was, but I'm glad you found yours. But I love that. I think that
Always
I've taken
looking.
all of the experiences that I've had over the years, just make what I'm doing now better. Make what
Yeah, exactly.
Just piling on everything. So, yeah, no, that's awesome.
So I bounced from restaurant to a nonprofit theater to a tech company, and then decided after the tech company, because I've saved up all this money, paid off my student loans, and I'm like, you know what? We're going to start a catering business. And guess what month it was?
February of 2020.
February 2020.
2020.
Yes.
Oh my god. That's
so
a theme of this show, by the way. Like,
yeah.
I was just listening to a couple interviews that we did, and everyone was like, my pivotal moment when I was going to change the world was February 2020.
New Year's Eve 2020, like just December 31st, 2019. I was working at this really great Italian restaurant, and Daniel Jones, the Giants QB, and his buddies from Duke were in the PDR, and I was the head server, so I was taking them. And Dan is like, Mike, you got to do a shot with us. And I said, Dan, listen, if I ask to do a shot, they're going to tell me no, but you're the quarterback for the New York Giants. If you ask, they have to tell you yes.
Yeah.
So New Year's Eve 2020, I'm doing shots of Don Julio with Daniel Jones. I'm like, oh man, 2020, this is going to be my fucking year.
The best year
This
ever.
is how 2020's starting?
It's going to be incredible. I have 8 weddings to cater. I have 2 cookbooks to work on. I'm so excited. And then it all ended for me.
Oh my gosh.
It's not like the weddings were postponed. They were canceled.
Oh
my god.
It was
such a horrible
painful.
time. Such a horrible time.
But
so what did you do from that? Yes, you
Yeah.
did like that caused a bunch of pivots for you, like, right?
I tried everything. Every single thing that you could think of. I started an Etsy store. I started shipping spices across the country. I bought my cookbook in bulk and was able to ship them out individually, so I got the money directly instead of it going to, Amazon.
Plug your cookbook.
Oh yeah, my first cookbook was called Showdown: Comfort Food, Chili, and Barbecue.
Yes, and I want to
really
get into
fun.
that because I
Sure.
from what I've read, like, and we don't have to go right into it, but I am gonna pull on that thread a little bit because I wanna know how you wrote that cookbook. Like, that is like, because I know that book, and I can't believe that I haven't met you, and like I don't have the book, but now I'm gonna have to buy it directly from you. But anyway, like, you got cooking competitions and all of that stuff. Like, how did that happen? How did you just start with cooking competitions?
I would say there was a very unique Brooklyn zeitgeist of cooking competitions around the mid-2000s.
Oh, I remember
There was
those
one
days.
happening, exactly. There was one happening like every weekend or every quarter. I became really good friends with Matt Timms, who put together the Brooklyn Takedowns. So it was like chili competition, lamb competition, lobster, fondue. So every sort of genre of food, he made a competition about it, and I was an active participant. And, you know, I may not have won every time, but I created like a very unique collection of recipes that were like, you know, ingredients you hadn't heard of, things that are served in large quantity. And so catering obviously fit into that, you know, right afterward.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the book came from those recipes?
It's correct. It is 100 recipes from my 8 years of cooking competitions,
Wow.
including a spot on Guys Grocery Games.
Oh, okay, wait. Did you win?
I'm not allowed to say that because Food Network
dude,
get
it's
really
not
mad
on
at
yet?
me. No,
Is
it's on, but it's a rerun, so it is always on.
I've had this thing where I would dominate Guys Grocery Games. I have no doubt. Like, I've talked about it before. I have
said
no
that
doubt.
too, but
I think, like, if anything, I would just like get my cardio up. Like when
yes,
yeah,
it
that
is
was
tough.
Like, when
it's tough.
I don't work out the way I used to, but like in my mid-20s when I was like at the gym like every day, I was like, oh no, I will demolish anybody. I'm so big and like deceptively fast.
Yeah, I was at a disadvantage because what they don't tell you is those shopping carts have $5,000 worth of cameras on them.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's, you know,
So they're
really heavy.
They're heavy duty.
It's heavy. And they don't have a good turning radius, you know?
It all makes sense as you say it.
Yes.
But I had a wonderful time. I have to say, Guy Fieri is a great hugger. Smells good.
Guy loves
Very
small businesses and good food. What else can you
very-
ask for?
Encouraging guy. Gave us a pep talk before we went on. You know, we were really nervous. You know, I've never been on TV like that before. And I had a good time. I made friends. You know, the competitors became my friends. So
I hear that a lot. I have
all in
a
all,
lot of
good
friends that
experience.
were like on Chopped and on shows like that that they came out of it, whether they won or not, they came out of it just with this
oh yeah.
these friends, you know. These band of brothers and sisters that they went through,
Yeah.
you know, that they went through something.
We called each other the sandwiches. So it's 3 girls, you know, we're like, yeah, the sandwiches.
All right, I love it.
Well, if folks are curious, it is season 10, episode 5, the cheesy special.
Let's go.
All right, we're putting a link on the show notes for that one.
Yay!
So the cooking competitions led to the cookbook. How did Attack the Pantry come about? Well, first of all, what is Attack the Pantry, and how did that come about?
Okay, yeah. Attack the Pantry is a streaming talk show hosted on Twitch. So twitch.tv is normally a video game streaming platform. I do that as well. Like, I love video games and I stream games. Like, I was streaming Skyrim. I was just today streaming One Piece Odyssey. And so I love that stuff. But on Wednesdays, a couple times per quarter, I will host an interview talk show or a cook-along called Attack the Pantry, and it's super fun. I get to interview authors about their upcoming books, people who don't actually cook. I talk to them about their, you know, what they make and how they feed themselves, because it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated by that, especially like I don't know. I think, you know, Mike knows I cook dinner mostly every night. Like we're recording this
Jen,
and it's almost dinner time. And go
Tom
ahead,
is
Mike.
the best home cook in America.
Oh,
I don't say that lightly. I don't
Nice.
say that
Yeah.
to blow smoke up his ass. I say it because it's very true.
You
He
care.
says
The way
it,
he
he says it in
approaches
front of my
food.
kids, yeah, because he wants me to get on
I
he
want him
knows
to
that
go
my
on
kids
Next
want
Level
me to
Chef
go
more
on
than
Next Level
anything.
Chef.
Oh, that's so cool. That would be amazing.
You can go as a home cook or social media chef. It's fine. You'll go. You'll
Yeah. Do
All
it.
right.
Do it.
I wanted to
peer
say.
pressure. Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
But no, really though, there are very few people for like in the industry even that look at food the way Tom does and
Aw.
care about it and know about it and research it and like all that. Like when I can teach Tom something, I consider that like a win. Like and it because it doesn't happen a lot.
Oh, you teach me lots. And all of this is to say that I am this theoretical like cook. Like I cook at home for my family, and I cook. I have barbecues and things like that. But I could never do what Mikey does in a restaurant.
No, I called you a home cook, not a chef.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even call myself a chef. I am a cook at home, and that's it. I cook for my kids and my wife.
I started as a home cook, like I started from where you are. I love entertaining. That's actually how it started. When I was in the music industry, every Sunday I would invite my coworkers and people I met in bands to come over for grilled cheese. So it all comes from that little seed of like entertaining people on a regular basis. And so, I mean, you could do it if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm like, I feel the same way, and I think it's like, for me, it's probably like my background growing up. Like Sunday dinners, I grew up Italian, so like Sunday dinners was just everybody was over and large. I love large format cooking. Like I love just cooking, not just like Italian. Like I do a giant 3-foot paella over a campfire, and like I love doing crazy things like that. Yeah,
that's great.
So anyway, we got sidetracked. What I was going to say is right now, like I'm cooking dinner. It's close to dinner time, or I'm going to be cooking dinner right after this. And I know, like, I'm for dinner tonight, I've been marinating pork chops. We're going to have Korean barbecue pork chops. We're going to have, some lettuce wraps, things like that, right? And that's a weeknight dinner. It's a simple dinner, and I feel like it's simple for me, but like that is really, really complicated for somebody else, and it's always fascinating to me to like, and I'd love to hear your input on this, like the people that call into your show and are asking for advice, like how does a normal person eat, I guess is what I'm asking, trying not to sound like a snot.
No. This is why I have my show on Twitch, because it is notoriously a gamer community who do not eat well. They don't really, Doritos, like a lot of the sponsors of Twitch are like energy drinks, microwave stuff, easy like Hot Pockets. And I mean, there's a place for that in my life. You'll catch me eating that stuff on Instagram. I love it. But it's no way to like live sustainably. And so it's really interesting to be at that intersection of gaming and food, to give them a sort of 101 look into my life. Like, a lot of people have genuine questions about, like, how do you decide what to eat every day? Like, that is such a big question for people every day. It is so interesting to me because I have this never-ending list of things I want to make.
No, I know.
But they don't know that they can do that. They don't know that they can do that. And I'm like, listen, bookmark stuff when you're browsing, like, on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And, look it up. Like, everything is available to you right now. That's what's so amazing about the internet world. Yeah.
Yes, we are in a place, like, right now where I can get any spice that I like. I used to have to go to, like, you have to go to Caloostians or someplace like that in New
gosh,
York.
such a trek, yeah.
And you'd have to do it, and it's like if you wanted to plan something out, like, you'd have to do this. But like today, I knew that I had pork chops, and I knew that I had gochujang, and I knew that I had soy sauce and sesame oil, like all these little things in the back of my pantry, and this was just do it. And I feel like we're in this era now where it's just not hard to get any of that stuff.
Really, it really isn't, especially with delivery, mail order. A lot of companies actually are investing in Twitch as like an interesting platform to show people like meal kits like that. Those are a big hit on Twitch right now, and they've sponsored a few of my streams. I don't know if you saw that back there, but it's been cool because I advocate for that, like, for chef level people and people who are pretty experienced, meal kits are not for you. But for the 101 person who doesn't really know how to take care of themselves, a step-by-step guide is totally a great place to start.
I have two things.
Yes.
The first is with home cooking. It's a knowledge of, I think, 3 things. It's technique, flavor profile, and just actual knowledge of ingredients. Because if you grew up in a house that just did like string beans and chicken breasts and that's it, you don't know what anything is. When you go to any grocery store, there's like 50 different types of vegetable and you can't name every single one. And then I have a friend who likes to cook. She's not a chef or anything, and what she does is she she goes on the HelloFresh website and looks up like
yeah.
recipes
without
and
subscribing to it.
Yeah, and then just goes and buys the stuff.
That is one way around it for sure. Sorry.
I was just gonna say HelloFresh. I hope they're not your sponsor or partner.
Not
on
currently,
your Twitch
no.
stream. Okay. Because now
They
they're not going to
were, but
be
not
our
currently.
sponsor for the show
we would've
anytime
cut that right
soon.
off.
So
Snip, snip.
you just fucked us, Mike.
Whoops.
Thanks.
Whoops.
You're the producer. Just
Just, beep it out.
and beep.
Put
and
some
get of the
elevator
recipes.
music. Yeah, just put some elevator music whenever we have some offensive content. Yeah.
So what's a typical like caller into the show? What are they asking? Or a texter, like how do people,
chat
like,
participant,
chat.
yes.
Duh, like I don't know why I couldn't think of the word.
I
Maybe-
mean, you're coming from the TV marathon,
Yeah,
telethon.
seriously. No, it's like
sort
sports
of model.
radio, like yeah.
But it's not wrong, Instead of having callers on audio, we have them in a chat window, and we can interact with them live as we're streaming. So, for example, I had Abby Balingit, who is a Filipina baker, on my show. She has a new cookbook out right now called Mayumu, and folks were asking about, like, what's your background? How did you get into this? Where do I get these specialty ingredients? Like, where do I get, this specific rice flour? Where do I get pandan leaves? And so we get these really wonderful questions from the chat, and we answer them in a quick fire sort of way as we converse about food, much like how we're doing this right now, except we don't have a live audience.
Right.
Is the answer to pandan leaves H Mart?
No, not always. Not always. More a Chinatown thing. I did find Asian Veggies and We.com do deliver those, but, delivery fees.
Yeah.
I would rather go walk to Chinatown and go do that.
Yes. Well, I feel like is one of my favorite pastimes, is to go walk around a market where I have no idea what this ingredient is, and then go down a rabbit hole for the next 3 months of using that ingredient. Like, I've done that a bunch of times. But yeah.
I'm obsessive. I walk up and down every aisle of a grocery store if I've never been in there.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I went to
can't stand it,
Thailand.
and my wife will tell you, sorry, Mike. Yeah, real quick. My wife will tell you that I will not go to Stop and Shop like on Sunday to do, or like
it's too much.
Too
many people.
I'm just like, I can't deal with it. But like, I will go to the little local, Korean grocer down the block, or I'll go to Chinatown and in Flushing, and or go to Jackson Heights and walk around markets all day. That is a pastime for me.
The best.
So sorry, Mikey. Thailand.
It's okay. I went to Thailand, and I went on a floating market, and I'm at the spice thing, and I thought I got saffron for Tom, but it was safflower.
It was safflower.
And then he just went through like a rabbit hole of like cooking with safflower. Do you still have? There's no way that's still good.
No, I think I threw it out when I redid the kitchen last year, or 2 years ago.
That was like for my 26th birthday. That was 5 years ago. So there's no way that's still good. Yeah.
Babies.
I used it in...
I'm 31.
Yeah, I'm older than you.
Yeah,
I think I'm older than both of you. But I used the safflower... First of all, I was like, oh, it's saffron, I'll make a paella. Then I'm like, oh, this isn't saffron. And then I went down the rabbit hole,
Whoops.
like, oh, this is safflower.
Subtle difference.
Yes.
In the spelling.
It was just the thought that counted. You thought you were bringing me a kilo of saffron.
I was like, oh, for $5? Yeah.
This is like,
Let's
this is
go.
$20,000 worth of saffron. I got it for $5 in Thailand.
Your first hint should have been the $5. Yeah, you're like, wait a minute.
Thailand. I got a Supreme wallet for $5 too. I don't
Whoa. Money bags
Supreme,
over here.
Supreme, not supreme. It's that one little thing.
We're cutting an orange? Is that
Exactly.
what we're doing?
The logo is just a Supreme orange.
Actually, that's a really good parody.
I'm gonna sell that.
Somebody make this merch. Somebody make the merch.
No, that's that MikeyPomodoro.com/shop. By the time this pod's up, we'll be
Fan
selling
art. Let's go.
So what I love about everything that I've read about the cookbook, because like I said, I don't have the cookbook, and it is a shame that I don't, is that it takes a lot of the ingredients that either you grew up with or that you've discovered or that, you know, you've sort of found along your journey and puts it into barbecue and chili and things like that. And I like, I love doing that. I think I mentioned on the last podcast, one of the former podcasts, like when I make Italian spicy sauce, I use gochujang in it
yum,
because it just is better than using chili flakes. I feel
my
it gives it just more flavor and, you know, everything like that. So I love that. Like what are some of the things that you have like created barbecue wise using like weird ingredient or not weird ingredients, non-traditional ingredients.
Unusual.
Non-traditional ingredients. Gosh, I don't have it in front of me. Maybe I should just go grab it real quick. I mean, well, so I'm Filipino, and not all of it is barbecue. So like, there's a lot of comfort food in there. So a soup that I like, so adjacent to the chili. So I did a lot of chili cook-offs. Adjacent to that, I made a lot of competitive soups as well. So in the family of congis, I have arroz caldo, which is like hot rice, basically. So it's infused with ginger, and it typically has stewed chicken in there. That's kind of our grandmother's healing soup that we have when we're sick, you know? Instead of matibal, we're having arroz caldo. But the way that I treated it is, instead of stewing the chicken, I dehydrated the chicken and make it into more of a pork song floss texture.
Oh, yeah.
And it's adobo flavor.
Sick.
So it has adobo chicken threads on top of it, if you can imagine, with like fresh scallion and ginger over a rice porridge. Another genre of this is champorado, which is a chocolate sort of rice pudding or rice porridge. That is usually served warm and with sweetened condensed milk. But in the cookbook, I've done a savory champorado, which is, so I use dark chocolate, don't add any sugar, and then I do a spicy longanisa sausage with it. So that's kind of where the barbecue comes in. Ooh. So using a lot of Filipino barbecue techniques and flavors, you know, complementing the other things in there.
I feel like
super fun.
This book has been in existence for what, like 6 years now, and I'm
about
like, I am like really, really upset with myself.
It's not too late, everyone.
Yes.
It's not too late. You can still make your own smoked tasso ham and use it in my chili recipes.
Yes.
The smoke monster is what I call it, because I was watching Lost at the time.
Oh yeah. That's great.
Very
right, so now I'm definitely buying the book.
Yeah,
yes.
Lots of mid-2000s going on in that book.
I was in high school.
Lots. Oh, yeah. See, I told you I'm older than you.
Real quick, we were talking about before we recorded, and it's kind of like, I was following you before, but then it caught my attention because you started doing just One Piece live tweeting.
Yes.
And so,
very epic, yeah.
Tom, you know what anime is. So
I do know what anime is. I know
and manga's the comic.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
So One Piece is the longest running, still running manga and anime.
Okay.
Correct.
And
longer than Naruto.
Can I get this on like Crunchyroll or like I can watch?
Yes, it is.
It's actually it's dubbed on Netflix too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched like the first big portion of it, and then I just stopped because it's just too much.
It's a long ass show.
It's too much. But what they have about 1,000 episodes and only 100 filler episodes, which is when the manga, when the anime is waiting for the manga to catch up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jenn started just fucking live tweeting this show and just taking photos or screenshots and just being like, wow, look at this, look at that, LOL.
There was a reason. Yes.
I'm
getting
teeing
to
you
this.
up. I'm lobbing this to you. So, but she just did it for like a long time. I was like, oh yeah, this girl's just like real into this 1,000 episode anime. And
I went head first.
You met Marco, right? My business partner? I think so.
We did, yeah.
He's big into it, and his friend who also used to work for us, Luis, is like huge into it.
I didn't
So-
talk to him about this. I should talk to him about this.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So what Jen, why she watched it was very fucking cool, and I'm gonna let her talk about it.
Yeah, so One Piece has a cookbook for the first half of the anime that published in Japan 2 years ago. And
one of the main guys on it is a chef. And he's a ladies' man, and he smokes cigarettes, and he kicks.
Yeah.
I know this. Yes, I know
Sanji.
this.
his name's Sanji.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sanji. So he's the chef on the ship, and he has a cookbook that came out in Japan. And so I was approached by Viz Media, the U.S. publisher for the manga, to help test and go over the English language translation, so that people here in the United States could buy it and read it and cook the food from the show. And so that was a really fun project for me.
So Jen is the
wow.
closest thing to real life Sanji you'll ever meet.
So sweet. Oh.
No, it's scientifically proven.
So is
Yes,
the cookbook out now? Has the cookbook come out?
It is out, yes, yeah.
All right.
It's totally out. It's One Piece pirate recipes by Sanji. Now, the byline is by Sanji.
Nice. So my daughter is really into manga. I'm gonna have to get this, and I'm
cool.
she's gonna listen to this
Yeah.
podcast. By the way, Mike,
It's a wonderful.
no, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just gonna say that the One Piece cookbook is a great beginner level cookbook, and it's 50 recipes. Not scary. You can zhuzh it up and stuff, but it's meant for people who
It's
are
meant
not
for
used to cooking.
people on Twitch.
Yeah, it's meant for people on Twitch, people who read the manga.
So-
younger audience for sure.
One of the things that, like, Mike, I've been wrapping my head around is that, because we took a pause for 2 years, is that now my kids listen to podcasts all the time.
Oh.
And so they're going to totally start listening. They're going to listen to this. They totally are. And they ask me every day, like, who's on your shoes? Who you interviewing tonight? Who you interviewing? So, I said, we've got Jenn de la Vega. And I said, she does a whole bunch of stuff. And then I said, she's also got a show on Twitch. And they were like, what's her name? And they start, like, like looking for you. If I would have known
That's so
about
nice.
about One Piece and the One Piece cookbook, they would have wanted to be, like, right over my daughter anyway would have wanted to be, like, right over my shoulder while we did this interview. So
That's so cute.
I will definitely let her know.
I love. Supplemental to that, actually, if you love just Japanese cuisine, I also helped test the English language translation of onigiri. So an all rice ball cookbook.
Oh, sick.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's-
it's awesome.
We love it. Again, my daughter is very into that, and there's a Japanese market that also has, they've got manga figurines everywhere, but they also just have a onigiri like shelf, and then she just goes to it, just like that's her
Dude.
like favorite snack, and it's one of my favorite
for a
snacks.
cocky?
Best.
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah. But I learned so much from that book, like how to properly cook rice. The motion of washing rice in the rice cooker is called fua.
I do
It's
now.
like fluff. Like, so you're getting all the extra starch out and washing it out, and then so that the rice is going to be extra, like, fluffy. It's so cool. I was like, what? I never knew there was a name for that particular stirring motion.
I love that. They should say that. So, like, when you answer the phone in Japan, you go mushi mushi. Like, it should be fua fua. Fua fua.
Fluffy,
I think that's
fluffy.
fluffy. It's much better. So, Jen, do you speak Japanese? Or do you read Japanese? No, it was just sort of like, this is the translation. Like, let's see how this works.
I picked up, from the cartoon, I've picked up, like, the proper way to say things. Like,
Right.
itadakimasu. Like, we're going to eat. Thank you for the food.
Yes.
Well, the
I-
recipes were already translated, right? You were just like recipe
Right.
testing them.
I was making sure that it made sense. Yeah, I
And-
was testing and making sure it was legible and all that.
You're doing a lot of that now, right? You do a lot of cookbook collaborations where you recipe test and you do
I do.
layout and design and all of that stuff.
I'm not so much on the design side of things. I'm more on the testing and development side. So
Okay.
I can be doing as much as I could be doing writing, I could be doing testing, I could be helping somebody figure out how the recipe is written. So that's development, is not necessarily testing. Testing is when the recipe is done and I'm just making sure that we are being accurate and that somebody can understand that. The development is when a chef or a collaborator comes to me and says, I want it to be like this, but I don't know how to get there. And so I'm the person that kind of workshops it with them, and we get it to the stage they want it to be.
We need to have a meal together. Like,
Yes.
this is like,
Wow, I know a
torture me
restaurant we
that,
could
like-
all go to.
Yeah.
All right, let me rephrase that. Yes, we definitely want to go to Mikey Pomodoro and slam some chicken sliders. We need to cook together is what we
Yeah,
need
cook
to do.
together.
Cook together
That's-
is what we need
clarify.
to do. Yes. Great.
We,
well,
you know what? Now that everyone's vaccinated and everything, we should bring back the not a foodie vacation thing that we did.
oh,
The food
the
summit.
summit, the North Fork Summit. I was thinking, Mikey, that we need to have a Not a Foodie festival and just invite all of these people that know how to cook to just, I don't know, we'll rent out a hall someplace. I'm sure Jen can help us with that.
Sure.
Just have a big party.
Where can people buy your cookbook?
So I have a bunch of links. So if you go to linktree/randwiches, that's pretty much everything that I'm working on. So there's a link to my cookbook. There's a page of all the other cookbooks I've worked on, my Twitch channel. So you can follow me on social. If you just Google Randwiches and Jenn, you'll be able to find me very quickly. But I guess the next book that's coming out for me is going to be Islas by Von Diaz. It's going to be on Chronicle Books. It's coming out in August. Very, very excited. It's 100 recipes from island cultures. So, like, typically islands that have been colonized. And so talking about the resilience of the peoples that live on these islands and the foods that we don't really know about. So it was a wonderful project, and I'm excited for that one to come out soon.
Oh, that's amazing. That comes out in August, you said. Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely going
August-ish,
on my
yeah.
shelf. Cool.
Yeah.
So one last thing before we go, I want to, because I know, and I want you to tell everybody what Randwiches is and why is that your social handle? Because I thought that was so cool too.
Thank you. Yeah, Randwiches is a portmanteau of random sandwiches. And when I was trying to figure out my life in food between jobs, I wanted to see the city. I wanted to see New York City, and I wanted to bring lunch to my friends. And so I started a random sandwich delivery service. And instead of tips, I would ask people to post about the sandwiches, which is how I got the word out and built my social media following. So random sandwiches.
I did the same thing. I would just DM people and be like, "Hey, I will
Hey, do you want a
give
sandwich?
chicken parm. You just have to follow me and post."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally would go all the way to the Bronx. I would hand deliver stuff to Harlem, and I live in Greenpoint, so I would go all over New York. So I got to explore New York, see my friends, and feed people. It was really cool, but totally unsustainable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but it was
Which is,
the concept was like people would just order a sandwich and you would make them a sandwich, like a random sandwich. Like they didn't know what they were getting.
That's
yeah,
all it was. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Which
I
was
love
so
it.
fun. I keep talking about bringing it back, but I need to figure out how the money works with that, because
Yeah.
2007 $10 is different from 2023 $10.
You could definitely charge $20 for that if someone knows who you are and knows sort of what they're getting. Like, I think it's awesome. There's a way to scale it. We'll figure it out. I'm in.
Thanks.
I'm in.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes. Yeah. I'm in as your business partner.
Let's do it.
You just have to sell a lot of them.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Well, you have to do
That's
it.
it.
You got to do it for like a week. It's like a pop up, and this is it. And it has to be to promote something else. That's what it has to be.
Yeah.
Like, that's the
Oh
only
my
way that
gosh.
it works. But it's my PR background thinking as well. But
Yeah.
all right, Jen, I'm gonna go barbecue some pork chops. And thank you again for joining.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
And we're back.
We're back, like the radio.
Jen's awesome.
Yes, Jen is amazing, and like I said before, I feel like I can't believe that I've been involved in food and food media for so long, and this is the first time I've ever really spoken with her. and I'm like ashamed. I bought her book, and it's amazing. I am a huge Jenn de la Vega fan, and I can't wait to do more with her.
Yeah, and like I said in the interview, she was so easy to get. Like I followed her, she followed me back, and we just became friends.
Oh man, yeah, she's just a genuinely nice person too.
So, Tasty Bite.
Oh, Tasty Bite.
What was the best thing that you had in the last week?
All right. Well, it's grilling season. I mean, it's always grilling season for me, but I've been jumping on the charcoal, spending a little bit more time outside, not just a quick weeknight gas grill. But Nick Sharma wrote a book called The Flavor Equation, and he has this recipe. It's Indian flavors, and he has this recipe for a steak, which is phenomenal. And I made this the other night, and it is one of my favorite. Like, I get bored of just steak, and we have steak once a week. I get bored of just, doing steak, so I'm always looking for ways to sort of juice it up a little bit. And he has a coffee and chili rubbed steak that you serve over a burnt cucumber salad. The cucumber salad is chilies, red onions, little tomatoes.
It's an Indian dish.
Yeah, and you just char it all and then let it come to room temperature. Toss it with some dressing and some cucumbers, and it becomes this like almost like a relish. And then the steak, it sits for 5 or 6 hours with a rub that's got like chili and coriander and coffee. It's like a really intense Indian rub, and the two of them just go great together. And so we had a friend over, so I got like this gigantic ribeye. It's like 2.5-inch thick ribeye, and did a little reverse sear where I put it in the oven for like an hour at like 200 degrees just to get it up to temperature, and then did a really nice sear over the coals to get that nice char on it. And that was my bite of the week. I paired it with a Malbec, but before that I had a Negroni because it's summertime and Negronis are my summer drinks because I'm basic like that.
Not an Americano.
Not an Americano.
You didn't do an Americano.
I did not do an Americano. I ginned up my Americano. What was your bite?
So you have kids.
That's what they tell me.
When your kids were having their first and second birthday,
mm-hmm.
Those birthdays are for you. They're not for the kids. They don't remember that.
Right.
Was there a lot of booze at them?
Yeah. My son's first birthday was... We rented a VFW hall or some hall somewhere, and his birthday was right around Halloween, and we had a costume party, and the adults all got dressed up. So yeah, that was fun. And my daughter's something similar. We rented out a hall, and we had like a petting zoo. And yes, there was booze. There was an open bar. It wasn't a petting zoo. It was like we had a magician that had animals. brought some magician from Queens who bought like cages of bunnies to show around. It was definitely not like, like it wasn't a menagerie like a billionaire's birthday party. It was in a VFW in Queens with some sketchy dude who had rabbits in cages. So anyways, sorry to hijack that. Go ahead.
So over the weekend, we went to a second birthday, a 2-year-old birthday. And I made rainbow sherbet jungle juice.
Oh boy. That was a staple in my house on New Year's Eve growing up. Like my mom would make, it wasn't rainbow sherbet. It was always like orange sherbet, champagne, or sparkling. It was probably Unity because it was like the 80s. And a whole bunch of liquor. And it was, we were not allowed anywhere near that punch bowl. Yeah,
this was 2 quarts of rainbow sherbet, 1.5, the big boy bottles of cherry limeades Fedka, a 1.5 of Malibu coconut rum, a bottle of Prosecco, Sprite, and pineapple juice.
Oh my God, that is a hangover in a glass. That is that.
I didn't drink any. Those drinks like that give me very bad tummy aches.
Oh man, yeah, that is. But that'll kill you.
It was delicious.
I'm sure.
And dangerous.
I'm sure because it probably tasted like candy. Like it was so good.
Oh, and this sherbet has a little like dairy in it, so it was like super creamy too. It was they're gonna talk about it forever.
How fucked up did you get those 2-year-olds? Did you get them drunk?
No, but they rented a bouncy house, so that was pretty cool. They had a lot of fun in there.
Bouncy houses are deadly, man. I don't let my kids do it anymore.
Oh, it's like a recipe for a bloody nose.
Oh, totally.
Like, and it's never like it's never like on purpose, so like everyone feels bad. Like,
Yeah, no, of course. It's not like there's anything malicious about it. It's just a recipe for someone getting hurt. And that's it. And that mixed with jungle juice compounds it. Like, that's... because then all of a sudden you have adults that don't care. And that's it. All right, dude.
One of the guys didn't believe I put alcohol in the jungle.
Oh, my God.
He was like, "There's no
That's
way."
the worst.
I was like, "That's the point, brother."
I can't drink that stuff. What did you drink instead?
So in Pennsylvania, Yingling has a lot more beers, and their pale ale is called Lord Chesterfield.
All right.
And they call them Chetties. And that's like my favorite $2 beer.
Nice.
So I picked up a case of that, and I was drinking those.
I was going to say, I don't usually drink a lot of beer, but I was just in my head going, I just got really like beer tipsy a couple weeks ago. Where was it? And I realized it was a day game at the Mets. I went to Citi Field and day drank with some old colleagues, and we all took the day off and had a little outing. So, all right, dude. I think I think that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Perfect.
Who are we? We are the Not a
For
Foodie
listening.
Show. I am at Teamy Alley on Instagram and Twitter. Mikey, give the rest.
We are Not a Foodie Show on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. And then you can follow my restaurant, Mikey Pomodoro, on Instagram. And you can follow my innermost thoughts about the Yankees being terrible, why ranch doesn't go on pizza, and why chicken doesn't go on pasta on Twitter at Chicken Parm Poppy.
You're just so black and white with these things. I mean, sometimes ranch goes on pizza. I just gotta say.
Ranch goes on shitty pizza. You can put all the ranch you want on the shitty pizza, and I will not stop.
All right. Until next time. Bye.
See you guys. Thank you.